Having a high car payment is robbing you of your future. We need to save for quality used cars and ignore the ridiculous car payment trap. The newest car becomes not new very quickly.
Welcome back to My Dedication. If you are just joining us, we are in the middle of finding the money needed to fund your emergency account. I am walking you step by step through your budget in order to show you money you didn't even know was there, and money you can access by cutting things you never needed in the first place. Let's dive back in. We're going into the subject of transportation. Let's continue to one of my favorite subjects to get riled up about, transportation. I'll put it simply here because by this point, you have probably already put up with a couple of my rants about new cars and having high car payments. Buying a car and having a high car payment are choices. You, as a person, made the choice to buy too much car for too much money, and you need to change how you view cars altogether if you have any hope of reaching your financial goals. My 2013 Hyundai Tucson gets me to work just as well as your 2025 Lexus SUV and can legally go just as fast. The thing is, my car is paid off and owned outright, and unless you have a sizable trust fund or incredibly generous wealthy parents, chances are you didn't buy that new car in cash. Average used car prices have climbed over 20 grand very quickly since the pandemic years, and you must start saving to buy a new used car even sooner than before. I'll get into how to save for mid-range goals like cars, home down payments, wedding rings, and more in future videos. But for now, let's look at how we can cut spending on transportation to free up money for emergency savings. Chances are your car payment is too high. This is because cars are sold to us by how big of a monthly payment we can afford instead of the total price of the car. You don't walk into a dealership and hear salespeople telling you to purchase the most practical, affordable car for your budget, taking into consideration your other debts, rent cost, and everything else you have going on in your life. This is because they don't care. So if they don't care, you need to be the one who does care and purchase cars practically with no emotion involved. You go into a dealership and the friendly sales associate shows you how you can afford to pay $650 a month on a new car or lease. Never lease a car, by the way. And it sounds pretty good to you because you convince yourself that you can swing that kind of payment. That $650 a month payment you are being sold is most likely for 7 years or longer at more than 10% interest based on your credit and doesn't take into consideration any of the other costs of owning a car. For the purposes of illustration in this example, let's just say you do get that new car for that affordable $650 a month. I'm going to play Debbie Downer for just a minute and give you a great big reality check that will show you the actual monthly payment and what that is. Your new fancy awesome car that can't legally go above 65 miles an hour at $650 a month for 7 years, that's 84 months. Your insurance, $400 a month because you got an expensive new car. The fuel, let's say $50 a week, making it $200 a month for gas. That's with no joyriding or fun trips, just to and from work. Maintenance and repairs, anything out of warranty, oil, washing, tires, and more. Let's say a conservative $1,200 in repairs and maintenance for the year. That's $100 a month. Your registration, $80 for the year, so $7 a month. Parking, if you work in a city, let's put it conservatively at $100 a month. You found a great deal at a parking garage not too far from work. Your tolls, where I live in Texas, this can range widely, but is easily between $100 and $200 a month, even with the discount sticker program. Let's call it $100 a month for this example. This also doesn't include any fun accessories or anything else you will want for that new car. Your true monthly payment for this car, ready for it, comes to a staggering, a sobering, a whopping grand total of $1,557 a month. Let that number sink in again. $1,557 a month. That is more than my mortgage for the privilege of financing something that loses value every day. Even if you don't pay for tolls or parking, you are still looking at $1,357 a month, which is more than most rental costs for one bedrooms across the country. In other words, it's way too much damn money for you to be paying. Your entire financial life could be solved in seconds without that new car payment. You need to change how you view cars. They are tools to get to work and take you fun places when you can afford to go. You may get a few people commenting on how sleek or cool your car looks, but is that honestly worth the years of financial stress and close to $15,000 just in interest alone? The answer here is no, it's not. If you bought a reasonable used car, or even a certified used car that's just a few years old, you will save thousands up front on interest, and imagine how much more you could afford in life with $650 a month if that was used to pay yourself. You would be able to pay off a maxed out credit card in less than a year, while fully funding your emergency account and saving toward your next mid-range goals like a reasonably priced home that actually increases in value as you pay it off. The point of this example is not to shame anyone. It is to illustrate just how bad the math is when it comes to cars, and yet many people let it eat away the majority of their working life dollars. It's like driving around in your retirement money that you will no longer have because you bought a car instead. The car will be long gone, and you will have to work many more years than if you invested that same monthly amount when you were young. $650 a month compounded annually at 7% for 30 years is well over $700,000. That's $700,000 more than zero you will have if you don't invest and instead spend all of it on a car. Okay, so it turns out I lied and I went on a long rant anyways. And I said I wouldn't do that. I do apologize. I can't help it. It's just one area of people's budgets that I constantly see robbing them of their financial freedom, and it has to stop. Use my budgeting sheet, the brick-by-brick budgeting method, the debt destruction method, and this series on emergency savings to help create a stronger foundation and see the habits that will provide a much more satisfying life in the long term. Instant gratification is fun, but that rush of dopamine quickly goes away once you realize the item needs to be paid back in full, plus interest. In the next episode, we will continue through your budget, finding hundreds of dollars and ways to increase your debt payoff power. Write to us with your situation, and I will do my absolute best to get back to you with a true plan, or even make your situation the subject of our next episode to help others in a similar situation. It takes a community, common sense, and thinking differently to get ahead and beat the credit card companies at their own game. Normal is not paying thousands of dollars in interest. Advertisers just want us to think it is. You can do this. Thank you for watching My Dedication.